Hey guys, so I'm back with a part 2 of the video that I did previously, and in this video I'm actually going to break down a few things that in different parts of what I feel about, Umar Johnson. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Roland Martin interview that came out in 2017, and I'm going to be giving my opinions and thoughts on it. So, okay, after 2016, after the rant video, I haven't heard too much about Umar Johnson afterwards, and then come 2017, he's back on the Breakfast Club, and I was very shocked. I was like, why is he back on the Breakfast Club? Did we not forget about that rant to SETI? What was going on? I would have figured they would have all canceled him by now. But anyway, he was back on the Breakfast Club, and he was giving his opinions, you know what I'm saying, especially like on interracial marriage and interracial dating. He doesn't agree with interracial dating and marriage. He doesn't agree with interracial coupling. And okay, that's fine. He has his choices. He has his preferences. He has, and I understand where kind of that comes from because of, how the whole it's breeding us out, the whole like you can't trust them, the whole black men, you're suffering at the hands of like white people, why get with the woman, you know what I'm saying? He even goes off to say that he doesn't agree with when Frederick Douglass married that white woman, and he doesn't agree with that. So guess what? He has his he has his opinion, he has his choices, he has his preferences. That's cool. I am not bashing or getting mad at a black man who says he loves black women and only black women. I'm cool with that, okay? Of course I'm going to be cool with that because I am a black woman. However, he was going off on like interracial marriages, and basically he was going off on black folks. It's like he wasn't really talking too much about white supremacy, but only like blaming black folks for their role in it. And granted, black people, we should be held accountable, but let's just be honest, like I noticed this man, like he really kind of goes off on like black men and other black people when things just don't go right, or especially don't go right for him. Okay, so he was going off on interracial marriage. He was going off on like not even Donald Trump. He was basically going off on Obama. Oh, Obama didn't do anything for black folks, and then he's kind of not even praising Donald Trump, but like not giving too much criticism to Donald Trump. Like Trump deserves a lot of criticism, and you could say, oh, I already know he's a white supremacist, so I don't even need to go in. Well, that's true, but if you claim to be so against white supremacy, all these other black folks and black commentators and stuff like that, they're going in on Donald Trump, rightfully so, and you're out here just bashing Obama because what? Obama didn't give us what we wanted or needed on a silver platter. Let me just talk about Obama for a minute. I believe what we're really mad at is the fact that 400 years of our problems did not get solved by this one man. Let's just be honest. We're just mad that we thought that this man was going to solve all our problems, and he didn't solve all our problems, or at least to the extent that we wanted. And we don't look at the little itty bitty nitty stuff that he done, that he tried to implement, that actually got done to a certain extent that could benefit us in the future. It may not happen overnight. It may not happen in 8 years, but if it was put in there, it will probably work for us. We just have to find a way to use it to our advantage. I'm not saying Obama doesn't deserve any form of accountability. I'm just saying, why are we just getting pissed off that this one man did not solve all of our problems? Politics, what I've come to realize, not even come to realize, but what I've seen, especially with Trump in office, I have come to realize politics does not start and stop with the president. And that's the problem with black folks, especially when those who claim to be apolitical. You're apolitical, but you have so much to say about politics, about who's doing and who's not doing what. If you're apolitical, just keep quiet. Like, that's the thing. Umar claims to not be political, but he has so much to say about politics. Like, trust me, it's these hoteps that always have something to say. And usually it's negative. It's anything to be negative. And that's why I actually, at this point, especially with Umar, I backed out of this woke movement. Not too much, but I backed out of this woke movement just a little bit. Because it's like, man, what started off so good, what started off like this, I just kind of had to step back. I had to unfollow so many pro-black pages, and it's not even the ones that are just showcasing us in a good light. It's not just the ones that are not trying to be anti them, but just pro us. It's the ones that have to be anti everyone else and pro us. Even if they do make validations on why they are anti everyone else and pro us. But I had to back out of them because they just spew a lot of negativity. And also, you can't have a difference of opinion with them without them calling you things like coon and Uncle Tom and Mammy. And of course, you know, I see it on the internet. It's really hard to battle with people on the internet because most of this is coming from people on the internet. But aside from that, let's go back to him talking about interracial marriage. So he talks about that. The Breakfast Club did a whole thing about that. And of course, you have black folks going to bat for interracial marriage, interracial dating, interracial relationships. You have a whole bunch of black people, especially black men, because, you know, it's the dusty hoteps that, you know, talk all this shit. Excuse my French, but they talk all this ish about white folks and white supremacy and white men, but are, you know, shacking up with some white girl or some non-black girl. And of course, you know, Umar Johnson is one of the few hoteps that, you know, goes off and goes to bat saying he goes hard for black women, or so he says. Okay. And then, you know, the Breakfast Club does a whole, like, phone call interview, like, do you agree with it? Do you not agree with it? Because notice, especially when the black community, when you talk about topics like this, there's always a debate going on. There is gender wars. There is opinion versus fact. There's a whole bunch of deep-seated things that come out in this topic, and a whole bunch of emotion that gets fueled by this topic. So, you know, sometimes I try to keep it vague and I stay out of it. Me, I am open to dating anyone. I, you know, am open to dating anyone. Okay? However, I understand the problems that may come with it. I understand, you know, especially what we were going through right now. We're going through we were going through extreme racism in that time. We were going through extreme, you know, problems, especially with Trump being in the office. You know, we were just going through extreme stuff. So, you know, it makes sense. It's interracial dating, and you know, there have been problems that have been circulating around that. How is interracial dating in the Trump era? You know, it's one thing. In the Obama era, it was like everyone felt kind of safe because there was more covert racism than overt racism, but now there's overt racism. And I've been to a few of these quote unquote swirl pages on not even quote unquote, but these actual interracial dating and swirl pages on Instagram. A few of them I follow, and you know, there were people that were following us, claim to, you know, white men who claim to love black women and non-white women. They were found out to be Trump supporters, and we had to block a few of them. I saw those pages block a few of them. I saw those pages go after them. They reported them. They exposed them, and I was cool with that. Expose all of them. Now, fast forward after the Breakfast Club, here he is on the Roland Martin show, and, you know, not only are they talking about the interracial dating, interracial marriage thing, but they're talking about like his credentials. They're talking about him being relevant to Frederick Douglass. And I'm actually going to make another video on his credentials and Frederick Douglass. So stay tuned for that. On the Roland Martin show, they get into this big heated debate about interracial dating, and Omar is basically by himself because there's a panel of like 3 people along with Roland Martin. He basically is going to bat by himself, saying that, defending his point of only wanting to be with black women, not agreeing with Frederick Douglass marrying that white woman. He said he loved Frederick Douglass because, you know, he claims to be a descendant from him. He basically says, I agree with Frederick Douglass on all the things except for when he married that white woman. You had a blue blood chocolate queen. And you know what? That's another thing. He strokes, especially the dark-skinned woman's ego. You know, especially as we deal with colorism as dark-skinned women, as especially being the less desirable one, when we hear like a man who's like this, who's like halfway masculine, who some of us may find attractive, not me, but some of us may find attractive, we like to see them go to bat for us, especially when we're not used to hearing or seeing that. So of course he's defending his point hard. And I do say the lady who was kind of caping for interracial marriage, like she didn't make too many valid points. She was basically looking at this as an individualistic thing, because she was saying, you really don't think a white person who's in a relationship with a black person can understand their plight? I'm like, they can try. I agree that anyone with open ears to listen and understand is worth, taking a chance on. I really do think if they have open ears to listen, if they're like the Tim Wises and the Jane Elliots of the word, fighting racism, trying to listen to you, trying to gain more knowledge about your plight and trying to educate others, especially in their family, especially their other white people, then I'm cool with that. I understand that. You know what I'm saying? However, Umar was talking about the systematic stuff, and yes, that is true. Systematically, nothing has changed for black folks, and interracial marriage is not the cure or the problem or the solution to the problem. It's not that. So I understood what he said. I understood what she said. Okay. But I find it funny. So many people were on his side after the Roland Martin interview. And I was like, you guys are so stupid. Didn't we forget what happened in 2016? His character is still flawed. Just because he hypes you up, especially as black women, just because he hyped you the fuck up, excuse my French, but just because he hypes you up does not mean he's good for the community. I don't know why you guys are going to bat for him. I saw through it. I'm not going to go to bat for him just because he says, I love black women, because that's another thing that gets us black women. It's like every time someone goes hard for black women when we're not used to seeing that so much, we jump on the bandwagon and we have their back. You know what I'm saying? So, and I saw a lot of black women on the internet saying, oh, Umar was ambushed. How dare Roland Martin? First of all, only thing Roland Martin did on that show, he really didn't say too much. In my opinion, Roland Martin was just a mediator who did a bad job at being a mediator. Some people even said, oh, why would Roland Martin not have Umar's back when he was called a liar, but you had the other dude's back when, Umar called him a coon. Well, Roland Martin specifically said he does not want any racial epithets on his show. I wouldn't want that on my show. I wouldn't want the N-word used on my platform. I wouldn't want like coon and stuff like that used on my platform if I had a show. Why is coon synonymous with liar? Why is a racial epithet synonymous with a universal term insult? So I don't understand why people were going to bat for him. Now, maybe it was what he was called a liar for that you had his back for. Okay. But I'm saying, why would I want the term coon and N-word used on my platform? He said no racial epithets. Liar is not a racial epithet. So please, miss me. Tell me why you thought he was ambushed. Please. I saw no ambush. I just saw a screaming match. I just saw two different sets of people, or one person and a different set of people who had different opinions and they couldn't agree to disagree. That's all I saw. Okay? I don't know what ambush. If you're talking about the ambush on his credentials or the ambush on his being related to Frederick Douglass, that has been called out over the internet before this interview for a while now. That has not been anything new. Okay? So this was, I was pissed at this. Why are so many people having his back? And Keyboard Musician, before he deleted his video, he has said this in a past video. The main reason you people had his back on the Roland Martin show was because of his views on interracial marriage and interracial relationships. And honestly, if you ask me, I find it funny because the person who disappointed me the most was Lovely T. I am a subscriber to her. I love her. I like her opinions on most things, because most things I can agree with what she says, or most things she makes sense with when she gives her opinion. But she was going hard for Umar Johnson. Like, what's wrong if a black man loves a black woman? For me, let me tell you what I think. It wasn't just the fact that he was going hard for black women and they weren't going hard for him. Because she was like, you lady on the panel, you are a black woman. Why are you not agreeing with him, or something like that? And I was like, well, first of all, she's not necessarily obligated. It will make more sense, but she's not necessarily obligated to have his back just because he says, I love black women. And I find it funny, you had his back, because let's be real, Lovely T is a single black mother, go figure. He says he loves black women because he was like, your greatest contribution to the movement is to be with a black woman. Okay, well, I find it funny. It's so ironic and hypocritical because he's not married. He has 2-3 kids out of wedlock, okay? But yet and still he's trying to give relationship advice to black women and to other people on who they should be with. Now, granted, I do believe that people in like interracial relationships shouldn't be like the voice or the face of the pro-black movement. But my thing is this: why discredit them for things that they done for the movement? Because you were so quick to discredit Harry Belafonte and, all the other people who had made contributions, bigger and better contributions than Umar Johnson has to the movement. Now, I'm saying You don't have to make them the face or the voice. I understand that. It's kind of a little oxymoronic when you say I'm pro-black, but I date outside my race. But notice the people who are saying that, oh, it's oxymoronic when you are pro-black but date outside your race. They're the single ones. They're the single ones, and some of them got kids. You know what I mean? It is technically oxymoronic, but I'm saying you're the one speaking so hard about it, but you're not even in a relationship. So that there could be a level of, you know, anger and possibly jealousy and insecurity because you're not in a relationship with anyone. But anyway, Umar says your greatest contribution is to be with a black woman. And notice how that's what got us. That's what got a lot of black women that I seen on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Going to bat for him because he's going so hard pandering to them. He's really pandering to you. You know what I'm saying? Because I found it funny. He's saying love, respect, you know, honor black women. They're the greatest thing in the world. But you got caught with a black woman who happened to be a stripper and you disrespected her. You lied on her. You said that she was sent out to get you when really you just got caught putting your thing in something that you claimed you weren't doing. You got caught, you know, going against your word. You got caught not practicing what you preached and you decided to blame it on her. So I find it funny how you're saying love and respect black women, but you're not with a black woman. And you've disrespected black women occasionally, especially when they just don't agree with you. Notice that. Notice when you don't agree with Umar, especially as a woman, when you don't agree with Umar, like he'll come and disrespect you. He'll disrespect you. I found it funny how, especially Lovely T, that's what really disappointed me. I was so disappointed in her that she had his back. She's entitled to her opinion and she has the right to believe. Yes, she made valid points as well as Umar on the show, but let's be real. This man has proven he does not respect black women. You even said it in one of your videos. You've noticed that after he exposed that stripper, after he talked down to that stripper, there were so many black men going to bat for him and so many black men bashing black women, especially those in the so-called conscious community. They were bashing black women and it caused a bunch of gender wars. But he caused that. But you had his back because he hyped you up as a black woman, so you had his back all for that. But he hasn't proven to fully respect black women. And I'm not saying we're always going to be lovey-dovey with each other, but I'm saying he has shown not to respect black women, especially when they don't praise him. And you've even said it after your response to his fake apology video. You know what I mean? So I found it funny, and you're the same person, Lovely T, that said people can't feed you ish and call it sugar. Well, he fed you ish and called it sugar, and you ate it right on up. So I felt like you were smarter than that, and I was very disappointed in you for having his back. It wasn't the fact that he just says he loves black women, but I'm saying he had a track record of not necessarily respecting black women, and basically, especially if you would disagree with him, but he has that track record, and you still ate it up because he hyped you up, and you're a single black mother, go figure. Notice, he panders and preaches to single black mothers and single black women. That doesn't mean he respects us. So I was very disappointed in Lovely T. I mean, yes, it's her opinion, her truth, her page. She can do what she wants. But I found that very, very, very disappointing, the fact that she couldn't see through that. And you wanted to go off on the panel. Now, granted, the panel was not necessarily that educated. But here's the thing. What ambush? Someone please tell me how he was ambushed. Because I was like, what ambush? All I saw was a screaming match, okay? Please tell me. All I saw was a bunch of people with an opinion that they couldn't agree to disagree on, and they were just going back and forth. And then everybody on Umar's side. And I was like, I was so disappointed in you guys. Because even the same people who said they were done with him were like, yeah, I agree with Umar, yeah. Miss me with that. So yes, that's what I have to say. Again, leave your comments down below, like, comment, subscribe, you know, don't forget to hit the notification bell so if you want to get notified about a new video, and I will see you again in part 3 of this video.